Welcome to another edition of the Monroe Township Mayor Show. I am your mayor, Stephen Dalina. Today's episode will be in two segments, both focused on the Monroe Township Police Department leadership, their vision for the department, and important initiatives currently underway, as well as our programs planned for the future. As you may be aware, Chief Bienes retired as of the 1st of this year. We certainly extend our sincere thanks for a long and successful career with the Monroe Police Department, spanning 36 years. Chief, we wish you well in your retirement and thank you for your dedicated service and contribution to the Township of Monroe and the community. Again, Chief, thank you. As with any retirement, change is inevitable. And today I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce to you the new individuals at the helm of the Monroe Township Police Department who are responsible for securing the safety and well-being of each and every resident of this township. I assure you that our community is in excellent hands under the leadership of Griffin Banos, who was sworn in as our new Township Police Chief at the 2024 reorganization meeting in January. So let's get to know a little bit more about Chief Banos and hear from him about his vision for the Monroe Township Police Department. Chief, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here. Obviously, safety is always a very big concern for the residents of our township. Coming into the chief's position here, you've proven yourself to be an amazing professional. The service and dedication that you've given to Monroe Township, and now to ascend to the chief position here. I would like to introduce you to the Township of Monroe, an opportunity for discussion, communication, and for the residents of Monroe just to know a little bit about you and where we're going to the future here for safety. So 20 plus years as a law enforcement professional, Chief. Tell me, how did you get into the profession, and your accolades over the many years?
Well, this is the only town I've ever worked for. So I started my career in Monroe in 2004. I didn't always want to be an officer or a cop. After high school, I went to college to be a phys ed teacher. Mm-hmm. Started doing my in-class teachings in my junior year. It wasn't for me. My uncle was a police officer in Piscataway, a local town. He always had cool stories, and growing up, looking at him and hearing about some of the stuff, I thought it was something I'd like to look into. Mm-hmm. So, against my mother's wishes, my senior year, I dropped all my college classes, re-upped into criminal justice, applied to the police academy as an alternate route candidate, meaning I paid myself through. Mm-hmm. Got accepted to Somerset County in 2004. Went to the academy. Upon graduating in June, I got hired by Monroe in October of 2004. Starting here in Patrol Division for a few years. Got moved to the Detective Bureau for another few years. Back to patrol as a supervisor, road sergeant, running a patrol squad. Did that for a few more years. Back to the Detective Bureau for a few more years as a supervisor. 2018, I was promoted to lieutenant, moved to the Administration Division, spent a year there. Back to the Detective Bureau for 3 more. And then last January, I got promoted to captain, overseeing Administration, Detective Bureau records, and then a few months ago, the chief.
Very good. So I certainly hope that you made your uncle proud, and
I hope so.
And obviously I'm sure your mom got over the fact,
yeah, she's fine,
and look at you now, obviously becoming the chief for sure. So again, very impressive, 20 plus years now, rising through the ranks, seeing the trends, the previous trends. Could you tell me a little bit what you've seen, that the previous trends, but also potentially what you might be seeing in the future for law enforcement?
Well, the trend of technology is like the main thing that I've seen over my career. When I got hired in 2004, I was put in a patrol car with no camera, no computer. That was the new guy got the oldest stuff.
Right.
Now, especially as upper level management, I couldn't even think about putting a newer officer in a car that doesn't have a camera, the computer, they get the reports done. The job has just changed. It's much more, technology driven. We don't even put a car on the road that doesn't have a working camera in it. On top of that, we now have our body cameras. We have tasers. The technology over the 20 years has been incredible. Fortunately, running a PD where the town has invested a lot of money in our technology, it really helps us out. We have the best of equipment. We have the best body cameras. We have the best tasers. We have the best car cameras. We have flock cameras, which are around town to notify us if certain cars come in and out of town. So the money being spent, in my eyes, is being spent in the right way towards technology, and that really is helping us do our job properly.
I think that's pretty much with any industry. Technology is going to be the driving force for the future. And we use the word future. You mentioned the flock cameras. I mean, that's present day technology. Obviously, that's helping out. And I know the township has made the investment in flock cameras, and we've already seen the success that does bring. I know earlier this year there was an instance where that technology of the flock cameras was able to thwart or apprehend a situation. Could you fill us in on what happened?
Yes. So flock cameras will give us alerts as to certain cars, whether they're stolen or wanted for certain types of crimes, come in or out of town. So we had an alert come in on one of our cameras. Officers were able to converge on a certain area where the camera picked up on. The officer found the car. It was stolen out of a nearby town. Car started eluding the police. The chase ensued. Went through 1 or 2 towns. Ended up in another neighboring town into a foot chase, and the suspect was apprehended in a backyard. So everyone was safe. No one got hurt. It worked the way it should work. It's a big help. We wouldn't even known that car was in town.
Right.
So on top of that, there's been numerous times where we've gotten alerts. Officers have converged on areas believed to be where the car is, have found the car, stolen, looking to do some type of crime in town, and cars take off, and not always is a pursuit warranted, but no crime was committed in our town. We're not having a home broken into. We're not having a stolen car. So it helps us also push, crime out of town.
For sure.
We'd love to catch all of them.
Yeah.
But sometimes, just preventing it, it's better than nothing.
Indeed. So I want to hold off a little bit on technology because I'd like to get back to that. I'd like to focus on obviously something you just brought up regarding car theft. So we obviously have seen not only here in Monroe, but it is not germane just to Monroe Township. It is statewide in regarding car theft rings. Could you fill us in on some of the trends, some of the car theft, any type of crime that you're seeing, either spike or potentially hit a plateau?
I feel the car thefts have been down. Well, I know they've been down this year in town. I can't speak to as surrounding towns or other towns around the state, but like you said, it's not a problem that's just focused in Monroe or Middlesex County. This is the entire tri-state area. There's rings coming out of generally the cities. They'll come down, they'll drive neighborhoods in other stolen cars, and they'll look for high-end cars that keys are in the car, the key fobs are in the car. So they'll either walk across front lawns and keep pulling door handles until they get an open one. They've been blazing enough to enter homes in our town and surrounding towns looking for key fobs. I don't want to say that, this is a very safe town. I don't want to say it never happens here. Things happen, but we're fortunate where our numbers aren't what other numbers are. I would love to remind the residents to stay vigilant, to keep their cars locked, their houses locked, keep the key fobs out of the cars, even if they're in your garage. Pull them, into the house, and just, if they see something, say something. If they see people in their, yard at 3, that don't belong there, they could call us.
Getting back to technology, the question of Nixle. What is Nixle? What is its use? And how is it used here for Monroe Township for not only you, but for the residents?
So Nixle is another tool that we use, like a social platform, if you would, that we can put messages out on. So just last night there was a telephone pole fire which caused a minor power outage, caused the road to be closed. We can put that out to Nixle. It then lets the residents, people who are subscribed to Nixle, it'll send them a text message, it'll send them an email advising them that this road is closed. This way keeps traffic down on that side of town, and it also lets people know that they could have to change their route. They have to go to work, go to school, whatever it is. I personally feel that the way that we use Nixle was its original intent is to notify people of some type of emergent situation. We use it for roads closed, Office of Emergency Management type of stuff, emergencies. With that being said, one of my visions going forward with the PD is to make our social media imprint larger. So I'll use that.
And I think we've seen that already, Chief, yes.
We've been quiet for the past couple weeks, I think, so we got to get that back up. So I'm not a huge social media person, but I do have people at the PD who know it well and do a good job with it. So I'll like to use them for their expertise in that. And so we'll be stepping that up, and we'll use that for press releases, and we'll use that for different ideas that we have coming up for the future to put stuff out to the public, because I personally feel that the public wants to know a lot about what's going on in their town, and that, as they should. They're paying a lot of money in taxes and they want to see what's going on, and I agree. So I want to I'm getting my feet solid here in this job, but I want to, get our social media imprint bigger. I want to get our community policing presence greater. Just continue the trends that we've been doing over the years, but just take it to a different level as society changes and are more social media driven. I think that we change with it.
Excellent. Chief, I think in the second part of our program, when we have our captains, we're going to talk about that bridge, that communication, obviously, through social media and other means of ensuring that the residents of Monroe Township are educated and certainly up to date. So again, thank you, Chief Banos, for the comprehensive overview of the department. After the break, we'll hear from Captain Leanne Solomons, who oversees the patrol division and dispatch, as well as our newly promoted Captain Keith Salum, who heads the administration division, Detective Bureau, and Records Bureau. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I am your mayor, Stephen Dalina. In the last segment, I introduced to you our new chief, Griffin Banos. Now I'm happy to introduce Captain Leanne Solomons and Captain Keith Salum. Captain Solomons oversees the patrol division and dispatch, and Captain Salum heads the administration division, Detective Bureau, and the Records Bureau. Captains, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's all good. Captain Solomons, let's start with you. 23 years as a professional in the law enforcement field. Please tell us a little bit about how you got into the profession and your rise to become a proud captain here in the township.
Sure. Well, I graduated from South Brunswick High School in 1997. And actually, like Chief Banos, I went to college thinking I was going to be a teacher, but a music teacher.
Okay.
And then while I was there, I realized that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. And I changed my major, and I graduated in 2000 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology and started taking tests to become a police officer. Monroe Township gave me this great opportunity and hired me on January 1st, 2001, and sent me to the Somerset County Police Academy, where I was a team leader, and I'm the first and only female to win the Chief Richard R. Ryan Physical Fitness Award there. And then they sent me out on patrol, where I worked for several years. And then I became a detective, and I taught DARE. While I was doing that, I finished my master's degree in Human Services Criminal Justice. In 2007, I got promoted to sergeant, and I worked in administration and also in patrol as a sergeant. And then in end of 2010, I was promoted to lieutenant. I initially got to be the watch commander in the patrol division, and then I spent time inventorying and reorganizing, updating all the policies for the evidence room. and then I worked in professional development, where we did training. Eventually, I worked as administration lieutenant, which oversaw also the planning, but also policy procedure, hiring, the dispatch room, and then eventually I was promoted to captain, and I've served in the patrol division, overseeing all of our patrol officers, but also the traffic safety unit, our dispatchers, animal control unit. I've also been in OEM since 2010, and throughout my career I've attended a lot of training to assist me, and I'm just thankful that Monroe gave me this opportunity. I've spent my entire time here, got to grow and learn a lot about the community.
For sure. So I got to ask a personal question. Music major. Wow. So music major to law enforcement. Now, obviously, I'm sure still deep inside of you, there's something, you're musically inclined. Do you play an instrument?
Not very much anymore.
Okay.
Right, but I did. I played the French horn and the trumpet for many years, and I was very excited when my children took it up, but none of them anymore.
See, there you go. So it just, for me, it was just intriguing to hear it. Captain Salum, 23, 24 years. Again, please let us know, fill us in on perhaps something that was inspirational to you that brought you into the into law enforcement profession, and obviously your career. I'd love to hear about it.
Yes, I appreciate it. I started my career in 1999 with Middlesex County Sheriff's Department. Graduated from Somerset County Police Academy. Was hired by Monroe Township under Chief Richard Garvey in 2000, November 1 of 2000. Prior to that, my family background, my uncle, cousin was in law enforcement. It was a career path that I've always looked to move forward in as a young child into my teenage years and young adult life. In 2000, when I got hired by Monroe Township, I was assigned to the patrol division for 10 years. From there, I was reassigned to Detective Bureau. In 2012, I became the sergeant of the Detective Bureau and stayed there, including up to lieutenant, where I oversaw investigations, professional standards, internal affairs, and 2024 became captain. During my career at 24 years, I was a SWAT team member, honor guard member, head of the Megan's Law unit, PBA president, bike officer. It was a very good career and continue to be a good career, good community to serve, and I look forward to continue to serve the community and the department and our command staff, including our officers and detectives.
So again, I'll ask a personal question of you, Captain, as well. So was there one particular person that potentially inspired you into the profession? So
my cousin, who was on North Brunswick Police,
Right.
and also my uncle who served in New Brunswick. So that's where I got a lot of my insight and really gave me that interest and a passion to make this my career.
Yeah, I'm sure you made them proud.
Yes.
So, captains, both of you, combined over 50 years of professional service. Captain Solomons, I'll ask the first question to you in regards to, what do you think are the issues, the most important issues that you are experiencing or that you've seen in Monroe Township that are affecting law enforcement and safety within Monroe Township?
Well, in the patrol division, one of the big things we're seeing is distracted driving. I mean, that is the leading cause of car crashes in Monroe and also throughout the entire state of New Jersey. So distracted driving, a lot of people think it's your cell phone, which it is, absolutely, talking, texting, but it's also anything that takes your mind and your focus away from operating your vehicle. So that could be reading. We've seen people reading, putting on makeup, rooting around in their vehicle, trying to find something if they drop something. It could be the people in your car are very rambunctious that day, disruptive. So we're seeing that as our distracted driving is a big issue for us.
Captain Salums, anything that you've seen going on in Monroe Township, based on, again, your experience that you're seeing as a major issue or trend?
Right now with the trends, I know the chief touched upon the auto thefts, and in that regard. The other thing that people need to be aware of, in which our agency and our Investigations Bureau has conducted is public speaking events for crime safety regarding fraud, elderly scams. That's very huge, and it's been huge, where they're targeting victims, elderly victims, trying to ascertain access to their accounts, make them withdraw money for different causes of fraud, whether they call it the grandchild scam, or your bank has been compromised. So we have two detectives, Detective Bennett and Detective McCann, who has been the spearhead of our public safety, reaching out to the community, having a crime safety prevention tip, giving that information out to the community so they can have some type of guideline and what to look for, and be aware of these scams and what the crime opportunities are occurring, not only within our community but throughout the state and tri-state area.
Excellent point, Captain. And I think I'd like to kind of focus on community and community outreach, and that relationship that we need to see between our police and the citizens. Obviously, Captain, you brought up the programs of that for the PowerPoint shows that have been going on and that we've had at our community center, at our senior center, as well as a lot of the gated communities. Captain Solomons, in regards to that outreach, how do you think, or what do you think is the best way for the police to reach out to the citizens of Monroe to reinforce that relationship and to help that citizen be informed to protect themselves? Obviously, we do the programs. Maybe you can talk a little bit about LEAD as well.
Yes, so right now we have going on in the middle school, we have officers and detectives who come in and teach LEAD, which for some people is a newer version of DARE. So we have those officers do that every year. They go in and they get to know the students. They don't just educate them. They form relationships with those students, and then they'll have a DARE graduation or rather a LEAD graduation and a LEAD picnic, and then they'll transition. They'll also have a youth police academy in the summertime for a week in July that those students can attend to really build that relationship with them.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about the Leadership Academy. That's held once a year?
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
And how does one get involved in that?
So the Youth Academy is for 7th and 8th grade grad year or graduation or grades that it targets. It is from the week of July 8th this year to the 12th that week. You can go on our website. They have the applications on our website where you can go on, and it's on there to be downloaded and completed and turned over to Detective McCann in our Detective Bureau. He is currently running the Youth Academy, and they are submitted to Detective McCann, and from there they put the course line together, which is it's a phenomenal program that was developed a couple of years ago, and it's been a positive result since with our youth who get an idea and a taste of what it's like to start at that beginning stage of a police officer, going through the stage of the academy, the things that are being taught, trained, and you get a taste of what responsibilities that the recruit and new officer will deal with in that career.
Right. Again, I've seen it in action, and it's a great program, and again, just reinforcing that special relationship that we need to have between our citizens, especially the youth, for the Youth Academy. As we draw to a close to our second part of the program here, Captain Solomons, it's all about, for me, the importance of outreach. And is there any, obviously the website has some information in regards to, information of how a citizen can get involved in signing up for Nixle or Instagram or Facebook. As we close, can you just, finish up with a final, that the importance of the community involvement in keeping themselves safe?
It is extremely important. They are our eyes and our ears out there. They see everything, so when they see something, if it makes them even think just a little bit that's not right, they should call us immediately. They're giving us all that information. Don't be afraid to call us. Don't be worried that you're embarrassing yourself or it was not such a big deal. They see things before we see it. So they call us. They can call us on the phone number. They can send us alerts through Nixle anonymously. They can go on our website and see our other ways to communicate with us. But they are our eyes and ears. They see everything. We need their help. We need their partnership.
For sure. Thank you. Captain Salum, one last time for a reinforcement
Yes.
of how can a community member keep themselves safe from car theft or scam?
So on the basis of the the auto car thefts, one, as the chief mentioned before, key fobs. Don't leave your key fobs in the car. Make sure your vehicles are secured. Key fobs are in the house. Residentially, make sure your home is secured, locked, alarmed. As the chief mentioned before, these individuals are entering homes trying to locate key fobs. Just make sure the house is secured as well.
Very good.
And as the captain explained before, communication with our community and our agency, our officers, our department is key for us to continue our job to keep the community safe.
Captain, I cannot thank you enough for spending a little time with me here on the Mayor Dalina Show. It's just so very important that we have this opportunity to let the residents of Monroe know that the leadership of Monroe Township is the most professional in the state and dedicated as well. And I do want to thank the both of you for being, obviously want to thank the chief as well. The Monroe Township Police Department comprises 67 sworn officers. Since 2017, the department has grown from 55 to 67 officers. The department consists of a detective bureau, a juvenile youth services bureau, a domestic unit, a traffic safety bureau, and has an officer assigned to senior citizen crime prevention. Keeping our residents safe comes before anything else we do for our community. The Monroe Township Police Department, led by Chief Griffin Banos, is second to none. The Township Council and I immensely are thankful and proud of the daily work of our men and women in blue. We are committed to providing our police, the force, with the necessary resources to be most effective. Thank you for joining us today, and be sure to tune in again for the next edition of the Mayor Dalina Show. I'll see you next time.